everyone. This is Misha Houston, and I'm here to do my review of If Loving You Is Wrong. Tonight's episode is entitled Justice. And I have to say once again that I am disappointed in this episode. It really wasn't very good. There were a lot of plot holes. There were a lot of characters saying things that other characters should say, and it just feels like the episode is, didn't really move me that much. And the ending as well just seemed a little too far fetched. It seemed completely and totally unbelievable. But I'm here anyway to do my review as I promised, and I hope that things get better for the show in later episodes. So, here we go. The first two people we go to is Kelly and the DA. Kelly is still in the interrogation room with the DA. She has just listened to the tape, and Kelly's, is saying that she did not do this. And she is surprised that the person on the tape said Kelly's name. The DA offers to play the tape again, but Kelly says that she doesn't want to hear it. The DA accuses her of hearing it the night that Ramsey was killed. And Kelly, completely and totally denies it. The DA says that he was calling and afraid of something, and Kelly repeats, saying, that she was not there in the house when this happened. The DA asks her, "Were you ever in his house?" And Kelly says yes. Then the DA asks when, and Kelly says not that long ago. Kelly says that she was there less than 5 times. Then the DA asks her, "Were you ever in his backyard?" And Kelly says yes, one time. The DA then asks, "Did you ever have sex with him?" And Kelly says no. The DA thinks that she killed him because he wouldn't have sex with her. The DA asks, did that make you angry knowing that he wouldn't sleep with her?" And Kelly says the only thing that she's angry about is this interrogation. The DA then mentions Ramsey's cousin Grace. She says that Kelly insulted Grace about her clothes and that she was jealous. And also Grace told Ramsey to stay away from her. Kelly says she only, met her one time and that she really doesn't know her. But Kelly does admit to insulting her about her clothes, but she doesn't admit to being jealous. Kelly says that she doesn't know what is going on here and that she didn't kill him and that she was never in his bathroom. Then the DA asks, "How did you know that this happened in the bathroom?" And Kelly says that the police told her. Kelly repeats herself, saying that she didn't do anything to him. The DA then asks her what happened, and Kelly says that she does not know. She wasn't there. The DA does not believe her at all, and then the DA pulls out a bloody piece of paper, a hairbrush with blood on it, a pen with blood on it, and a bloody kitchen knife. Kelly says that she did not do this and that she wants a lawyer. The DA says that she's trying to help, but Kelly says that no, you're only trying to bury me with this. The DA says that happened when you killed him. She, completely denies ever killing him, and then she asks for a lawyer a second time. The DA says that then we are done here, and so are your chances of ever freeing yourself. I mean, it just feels ridiculous now. I mean, so many pieces of evidence linking Kelly to the crime, a bloody brush. I mean, why would she have a hairbrush when she's killing someone? Why would she have a pen, even though the DA said that it was jabbed into his chest? Why would she ever try to stab him with a pen? And why would Kelly leave a hairbrush and a bloody note? I mean, these pieces of evidence are ridiculous. And a kitchen knife, I mean, anyone could have picked up that knife. I mean, these pieces of evidence are just ridiculous. It's completely far fetched. And I'm just ready for this, section to be over with. It's ridiculous now. The next two people we go to is Marcie and Brad. Brad is driving down the road when he gets a call from Marcie. She tells him that she found herself a new lawyer to help her with Randal and a divorce. Brad hopes that that works out for her. Marcie asks him, "How is Alex?" And Brad knows that she's just fishing for information. He admits to sleeping with her and that he's going back again tonight. He apologizes to Marcie, but she wants no sympathy. She then invites him to dinner at Pickles, a strange name for a restaurant, but he is hesitant, and she assures him that this is not a seduction. She just wants to talk to him and she wants some company. Brad agrees, saying that he'd be there. He'd be there very soon and that he's on his way. I mean, this is another scene that I have a problem with. She's obviously fishing for information, but in the last season, the last episode of the previous season, she heard them having sex. She heard it herself, so why is she fishing for more information? It's like they completely forgotten what happened in the previous seasons. But that's what we have on the television screen, and there's nothing that we can do about it. The next two people we go to is Natalie and Esperanza. This is another scene that just feels like a complete plot hole. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's another scene that has completely forgotten what happened in the previous seasons. It just feels like a new group of writers have taken over and they haven't even bothered to go back and look at what happened in the previous seasons. Esperanza comes over and she's still griping about the gun. She says she also dropped Mika off at her mother's house. Neither Natalie or Esperanza can believe what is happening. Esperanza mentions Justice pulling the trigger, and Natalie says that he's sleeping in the other room. Esperanza asks how he's doing, and Natalie says that he is good. He is not good, and it took a long time just to get him to calm down. Esperanza asks, is she still in this, is Kelly still at the station? And Esperanza, yeah, and they all say yes. Esperanza says when she gets to work, she will try to find out what is going on there. Natalie says Lucian is, looking into it, and Esperanza again is griping about the gun and why she has it. And, and then she also asks for some wine. Esperanza says that, says what was she thinking? And Natalie said that this was all about protection from Travis. Esperanza says she clearly doesn't know how to use a gun or put it in the safe. Natalie admits that she told her to buy the gun. She says that she thought it was the wisest choice. And Natalie says that she needs lessons and she needs to learn how to use it properly. Esperanza says that she has a gun herself and that Eddie also has a gun, seeing as he's a police officer, but he always, put it away and out of the way so no one could ever touch it. Esperanza says that this is really bad, and Natalie, doesn't even want to think about it. Esperanza says Natalie should have said something about that gun, and Natalie apologizes for it, and they continue to drink. Now, this is, as I said before, this is another scene where it just feels like one big plot hole, and that it doesn't quite jive with what happened in the previous seasons. I mean, as I said in the last video, Esperanza knows everything, was witness to everything, and now she's asking wants to, why Kelly wants to use a gun. I mean, it's just bad writing. It's just bad writing here. And I just want things to get better. Now, the next two people we go to is Marcie and Brad. Marcie arrives at the restaurant and Marcie says that she misses him and tries to hold his hand, but he pulls away from her. She tries to flirt with him, saying that it is his turn to say that he missed her, and Brad says that he does miss her. Marcie says Alex got in his head and heart, and he admits that it is true. Marcie admits that she is horny as hell and that she was hoping to get him to come home with her tonight. Brad says that he knew that and that he knew what she was up to, and Marcie said that she was trying to be slick. She admits that she wanted to get him drunk so they could have sex. Brad says that he was thinking about it, and Marcie says, then let's go before he changes his mind. Brad then says that he felt guilty after having sex with her because he felt like he was cheating on his wife. Marcie reminds him that she is the one who cheated on him, so he shouldn't feel guilty about it. He says that he can't help it, that it always comes. Marcie says that since he feels so guilty, she really feels like crap because of it. He says that he is sorry, but he is trying to be honest with her. He says that we always promise to be honest with each other, and Marcie agrees. Then she admits that she can't stop thinking about him or wanting to be with him. She says that he did a number on her. She thought, she knew that this was just supposed to be about revenge sex, but she didn't expect for him to get in her head. He apologizes, and then she says, "Don't be sorry," but she feels like she's, been hurt. She says that it hurts to see him with Alex, and that it hurts to see them together, being together, and it hurts. And but he says that he still loves Alex. She calls Alex a stupid bitch, and Brad, gets offended by that. She says that it's the hormones, and that it's her pregnancy and it's the hormones, and Brad, wants her to behave herself because of the baby. He says that Yeah, he says that you thought about what you're going to do about the baby. And she says, no, all she can think about is him. He says, do you want me to stay or do you want me to go? And then she eventually lets him go. And then he says goodbye and leaves. And with this scene, it just felt like Marcie, just move on. I mean, he's dumping you. He's obviously dumping her. And I just really feel like Marcie should just move on with her life. Brad's gone. Brad left you. I mean, he was really never there at all. And maybe there could have been something, and I really wish that they could have been together, as I said last week, but it's nothing there, and it's best for her to just move on with her life and let Brad go as best. I mean, to me, if it were me, I wouldn't even go over in that neighborhood again. I would just stay in my apartment and go on to work and do my job and just leave the two of them with Randall. To me, that would be the best revenge, in my opinion. The next group we go to is Lucian, Eddie, Steven, and Natalie. Eddie is literally urinating, taking a piss in the corner, and he said that he needed to get out of there, but no one would listen to him. Lucian says, "Come over here and sit down." After he finishes, he offers Lucian his hand, saying that, "How are you doing, sir, and how can I help you?" Lucian says, "Sit down and enjoy the smell of your own piss." Eddie says that it is better than the smell of your lady parts when we were driving around together. Lucian turns on the videotape and then talks about him snorting cocaine and taking money from drug dealers. Lucian wants to know if he is confessing, and Ed says, "Yeah, sure, you got me." Lucian says he liked that. He likes that very much. And Eddie says that you and your FBI buddies would like that. Of course you would. Lucian says that they got to you. That they have him in custody and there's really no point of him denying it. Eddie wants Lucian to admit that he is FBI. Then Lucian pulls out Eddie's file, which is very thick, and then there are photos of him with prostitutes, him with the cartel, him, there are tapes, and then there are informants as well. Eddie asks, has he even studied the file? And Lucian asks, are you confessing? Eddie says no, but he wants to play a game with him, officer to officer. Lucian says, okay, he likes games. And then he turns off the tape recorder. Eddie asks, we both were in the military, and Lucian says yes. Eddie says, we both stayed in Iraq, for a private security, and Lucian says yes to that as well. Then Eddie says, this is where we differ. He says that he went to Cincinnati while Lucian went over to Virginia. Lucian says, yes, that sounds about right. Then Ed says that there was a 2-year gap before you came to Maxine. And Lucian says, is this a game of questions? And Eddie says, no, this is a game of facts. Ed then says before he came to Maxine, there was a 3-year gap in his employment from Cincinnati to here. He asked Lucian, where was I and what was I doing? Lucian asks, where was he? And Ed says that it's a game, back and forth like sex. You answer a question, I answer one. And, Lucian says that he's not into that at all. He just expects him to answer his questions. Then Eddie says, and Natalie must not be a happy camper at home. Lucian again asks Eddie, where were you and what were you doing? Ed responds, you need to make some calls and figure that out for yourself. And then Eddie says, look how easy it is to get up under your skin. Lucian asks one more time, where was he? And what were you doing? And then Eddie just said, that's your homework assignment. And you need to, go out and figure out what I've been doing for the past 3 years. And then he tells him to leave, which Lucian does. After he leaves, Stephen comes by and tells him that Lamont is coming over here to talk about Eddie. Lucian asks why Stephen says that, and why is he coming over here? And Lucian, Stephen says that he doesn't know why. Stephen says that he is coming down here, but Lucian is concerned that it will blow their cover. Stephen says he doesn't know why he's coming, or he doesn't know, what is going on. Stephen, pretty much Stephen doesn't pretty much know anything about what's going on. All that he knows is that Lamont is coming down here to talk about Eddie. Stephen says that we gave him the evidence and we did everything we could, but, he just doesn't understand what's going on. Lucian is confused and says that there is nothing left to do but arrest him. He asks Stephen again, did we miss anything? And Stephen says, we got all our bases covered. We covered everything. Then Natalie calls Lucian, and then Stephen leaves. And then they talk about Kelly and Justice. She says that he is really, really upset, and Lucian says that he will be there soon to talk to him. Natalie wonders if he has 5 minutes to talk to her, but he says no, he doesn't, and that he will be there as soon as he possibly can. Natalie says as soon as he gets a break, just call her, and they agree, and then they hang up. Now, that part about Eddie, being AWOL for 3 years, I'm assuming that he is a government man too. That he may be a part of the FBI, or maybe a part of maybe the DEA or the ATF or something like that. Something that has to do with catching the cartels. So I'm assuming because of his 3-year gap in his employment history that he is a G man, that he's a government man working maybe undercover to take down a cartel. I mean, it would make a lot of sense. The next 3 people we go to is Marcie, Ian, and the waiter. Marcie is still at the restaurant when Ian walks over to her table. He asks her how she's doing, and she says she's fine, but she doesn't recognize him at all, which is very weird because it was the exact same day. But she doesn't recognize him apparently. He says that I interrupted you and Larry at the law office, and then she remembers him. He calls her by her name and she says that he is good with names, but he counters saying, I'm good with names of beautiful women. Marcie counters by saying, oh, that's just a lame pickup line. And then he says, ouch, and apologizes. Then he offers to buy her a drink, and she says no, she doesn't want one. because, she's pregnant. He asks, "Why are you sitting here all alone?" And she says that, "Oh, you're a lawyer, and that's where all these questions come from." And he says, "Yes, it comes with the territory." He asks to sit down, and she says yes, but she has to leave very soon. He says that maybe he could convince her to stay for another 5 minutes. She says that, "You are persistent, aren't you?" And then he offers to buy her a drink, which she refuses again. She says, "Why would I want to have drinks with you?" And he says, "Because I'm a very nice guy." Marcie counters saying, "Oh, you're pretty arrogant as well, aren't you?" And he says, "Not in the least." He's very charming. He's arrogant, of course, but he's very charming, and he's trying to work his magic on Marcie, which I'm totally here for. He asks, "What what does she do for a living?" And she says that she's a realtor. She sells houses for a living. He is pleased to hear that because he's looking for a house himself. And she asks him, "What kind of place are you looking for?" And then he says, "I don't know, but when I see it." She says, "As soon as you find what you're looking for, give me a call." And she gives him her business card. He offers that if he needs a lawyer, you should call him. Marcie says that she hopes that she doesn't need one, but she listens to him and takes heed of his, and takes heed of his offer. She asks if he's any good at his job, and he says he's the best. Marcie asks, could he get her off if she, tried to kill someone? And then he asks her, who do you want to kill? And she tells him, "Oh, I have a name." He laughs and, as if he's joking. And she says, "Yes, she is joking." He says, "Either way, he's your guy." Marcie then says she has to go, and she does, and then they both leave the table. Well, he rather leaves the table. The waiter comes by, and she wants to check, but the waiter tells her that the gentleman, Ian, who was just there, paid, her bill. Then she asks the waiter, can she bring her could he bring her car around? As far as this scene goes, it was a pretty decent scene. I mean, he's obviously, in my opinion, going to be Kelly's lawyer. A criminal lawyer pops up right when Kelly needs one. He's obviously going to be the lawyer. But I really like Ian, and I think he's very handsome, and I think, they could, be a good fit for each other. I'm all for Marcy moving on with her life, moving away from Randal and getting away from that fool Brad. I mean, she deserves a man that could really be there for her and really, look out for her and be a good friend to her. So I'm definitely all for Ian, you know, stepping up, and I'm hoping that she doesn't let the opportunity pass her by. I think Ian is really, really nice. I like him. The next three people we go to is Lucian, the DA, and Kelly. Lucian wants to talk to the DA about Kelly's case. He tries to convince her that Kelly is not responsible for this. He says that kid Travis has been abusing Kelly and doing all kinds of things to her. The DA says that she knows Travis, that she goes to his parents' church. He says that boy has issues and that he has something to do with this and that he has been stalking Kelly. The DA then asks, how could Travis be the voice of a dead man calling out her name? The DA says yes, that this is serious, that he called 911, and it is on the 911 tapes. The DA says that this is serious, and Lucian asks, "Are you sure that it is him?" And the DA, says that, "Do you want to hear the tape for yourself?" And Lucian says yes, he does want to hear it. The DA says that she is happy to let him listen to the tape and that he has several voice messages and they are trying to authenticate it. But she, believes that it is Ramsey's voice crying out for help. Lucian thinks that it is Travis, and the DA asks, why would he do such a thing? And Lucian says that boy is crazy, which is true. The DA thinks things aren't looking too good for Kelly and that she is going to need proof of her innocence. Lucian then asks to go see Kelly. The DA says that she asked for a lawyer and there's no more need for questions. He thinks that it is a smart idea that she asked for a lawyer, and she just thinks that Kelly is guilty. Lucian says that it is a very smart thing for her to get a lawyer when she is innocent. And Lucian asks again to go see her. Now, she first says no, but then she tells Lucian, yes, you can go ahead and talk to her if you want. The DA thinks that she's going to say something incriminating, but Lucian says that it's not going to happen. The DA says that he trained Kelly well, and then she walks off. I mean, before I go on to the next section, the fact that this videotape exists, that Ramsey supposedly called the police, as I said last week, if Ramsey called the police, why was there no one at the house when Rick first got there? I mean, it's just another plot hole. It's another plot hole there, and it's just bad writing. Totally bad writing on their parts. Now, on to the next section. Then Lucian goes to see Kelly, and she asks about Justice, and Lucian says that, Justice is fine. Kelly is afraid for him and regrets having the gun in the house, but Travis won't leave her alone. And that's another plot hole. The fact that if she had the gun, how did she pay for it when her accounts were drained? And if she could buy the gun, why would she buy the gun safe as well? She was afraid of just that Justice would get a hold to the gun. But you know how it is. Bad writing. Kelly says that she told him she told the DA everything that she knew and everything that Travis has done. Lucian, asked for anything that could put Travis in the house the night of Ramsey's death. Kelly says that once Travis came by her house, and Ramsey was there, and he got really upset to see him. She asks about Justice again, and Lucian says that he is fine. He asks her, do you have a lawyer? And she says that she doesn't know any. He offers to call around, but he tells her not to say anything else until the lawyer comes. He tells him that she can't afford one because all of her credit cards were maxed out and all of her accounts were overdrawn. She blames Travis for that as well, but he needs proof of it. She tells him that the bank is looking into it. He says that he'll do what he can he'll do everything that he can to help her. And then she asks about Justice one more time and tells Lucian to talk to Justice, and he says that he will do that. I totally feel sorry for Kelly, but as I said before, bad writing. That video, that tape, that 911 call. If he called for help, why was there no police when Rick got there? The answer is staring them right in the face. It's a shame that no one in the show can see it. Now, the next three people we go to is the unholy trinity: Alex, Brad, and Randal. Brad drives into the driveway, and Alex wakes up, goes outside, and, sits in his truck to talk to him. By her walking out her front door, it alerts Randal, and he also gets out of bed. In the truck, Alex and Brad talk briefly. She asked him if he's coming inside of the house, and he said that he's thinking about it. He says, don't think too hard about it. Yeah, she says, don't think too hard about it. And then he says that he doesn't want to confuse the kids. She asks him, are you afraid that you're confusing the kids, or are you confusing yourself? And then he says, I don't want to confuse anyone. I don't want to confuse us. She says that she is not confused at all. She wants him to come home, and she says that it would be nice to sleep next to him and wake up with him. And he feels the same. Then they start to kiss. Then Randal who is dressed, and he walks over to the truck, and then he starts, berating the two of them together. She tries to roll up the window, but he continues on with his rants and his harassment. He says that, you know how many times I hit that? And then he starts to make a videotape of the two of them kissing. Like, what is so big and so shocking about a husband kissing his wife in his truck? But he goes on and he tries to make a videotape, and then Brad takes out his phone and then sends the tool shed, the tool shed, Marcie Brad tool shed video to Randal. Randal then sees that, and then he hits the car. He hits the window of the car and says, he says, "Oh, you just a son of a bitch." He starts cursing and he starts acting a fool, and then the two of them get out of the car and goes into the house while Randal looks on, and then in the house they start to have sex. I mean, it's just I understand Randal's anger. I mean, he was mistreated by Alex. I do agree with that. I mean, she called his relatives, she called her relatives and they hung him by his neck. And I understand his anger, but I'm just over that entire section. I am so over Alex, Brad, and Randal. And I just really, really wish that they had moved them off in different directions. I'm just over it now. Now, the last two people and the scene of the night belongs to Justice and Natalie. Natalie wakes up and there is Justice in the living room talking to someone on his cell phone. When he sees Natalie, he hangs it up quickly, and she asks him, "Who are you talking to on the phone?" But Justice doesn't answer. Justice then asks her, "Where is my mama at? What's going on here?" She tries to get him to go to bed, but then he says something shocking. He says that he did it, that he killed Ramsey in the bathroom, this bathroom. And that is where the episode ends. I kind of don't believe it. I don't believe it at all, but it was a shocking moment, and but I kind of, now that I think about it, it just feels like a complete and total lie. Like he's trying to cover, thinking that his mother did the deed, and now he's just trying to cover, or either someone is making him say that. So I'm not really sure about the ending. It was shocking when I first heard it, but now I really don't believe it. So we're gonna have to see next week, to figure out what happens next. Thank you so much for watching my video. The next episode will be entitled In Distress. And I do believe, as I said before, that he is in distress and that someone is making him say that. But we'll have to see next week. My MVP of the episode is Ian because he's someone that is fresh and new, and I like the two of them together, him and Marcie. And it's just not the same old, same old. It's a sign that things are moving in a different direction for Marcie, and I hope she keeps moving in that direction. So because of that, Ian is my MVP. Thank you again for watching my video, and come back next week for the next episode of If Loving You Is Wrong. I hope things get better. Enjoy your life as I do, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much.